Now, let's talk about oil, because over the weekend, members of the oil cartel OPEC and its allies, including Russia, agreed to extend record oil production cuts until the end of July. In April, the world's biggest producers agreed to cut production by 9.7 million barrels a day through May and June. However, that's now been extended by a further month. This news has caused the price of oil to go up. You couldn't see the numbers on my screen earlier because it wasn't updating, but the price of Brent crude now over $40 a barrel, up some 2%. Let's go live to Bern, Switzerland. Cornelia Meyer, a regular, is there for us, Chief Executive of MRL. Lovely to see you, Cornelia. So just tell us how this agreement on an extension was reached, some of the obstacles in the way. Talk us through the process.
Well, thank you. It is really, it is a great day for oil. What happened is that Russia and Saudi Arabia at some stage came to an agreement that they wanted to extend for another month to get rid of this historic inventory overhang of about 1 billion barrels. But there were so many countries that were laggards, namely Iraq, Nigeria, and Kazakhstan, amongst others. And the Saudi oil minister cracked down and said, we cannot always bear all the brunt of these cuts. And they needed promises from those countries to A, adhere to their quotas, and B, make up for what they had lost in cutting down. So in that sense, it was good, because I think they now have compliance in check, or it looks like they have compliance in check.
Well, we'll see how that goes in the weeks ahead, whether these countries will comply, because for Iraq, Nigeria and the others who are seen to be cheating, this is an expensive time for them, isn't it, with the price of oil much higher, for them to cut back so much?
Well, it's an extremely expensive time for them, and you could argue it's also an expensive time. It's an expensive time for everybody, but for them particularly, yes, that is true. But on the other hand, if oil markets don't recover, that's bad for them too. Where I see more of a danger, though, is that if the oil price gets too high, then some of the U.S. shale production, which has a higher cost of production, may come back online, basically negating the effect of these cuts. So there's a real danger. And also Libya is a bit of a wild card, because they're just resuming the production of one of their big fields. So there are other dangers out there.
Well, talking of which, what is your outlook for global demand in the months ahead?
Well, I'm with OPEC and the IEA, who see it around between 8.5 and, let's say, between 8.5 and 9.5 million barrels a day for the whole year. That is very bad. It's historic. That's 10% of the falling of demand from where we were in January. But it's a lot better than in April, when it was down 29 million barrels a day. So it's getting better. And we see that actually, especially in China, consumption is coming back up. What's a bit of a worry is that we see in the US diesel down, and diesel is a good indicator for how the economy is doing. So there's some good news, but some caveated good news.
As ever, there's always the caveats. Nice to see you, Cornelia. Good to see you well and healthy. We'll see you again soon.